Hello everyone, I'm Greg Otto with FedScoop TV. Welcome to our Cybersecurity Hero Series. I'm talking with Stephen Smith, the Insider Risk Management Program Coordinator for the State Department. Stephen, thanks for joining us today.
Sure, pleasure to be here.
So, share with our viewers how you have significantly improved the cybersecurity posture inside your agency.
Well, I tell you, I think we start off at a pretty good baseline.
Okay.
I think the State Department, through Diplomatic Security, where I work, the Bureau of Diplomatic Security, has had a very good security awareness program, cybersecurity awareness program.
Okay.
I started my position to coordinate the Insider Threat Program. I like to call it the Insider Risk Management because it's all about managing the risk to our insiders. We're building upon the security awareness of our customer base, our trusted insiders, our workforce. Okay. So through a series of computer-based training and briefings and a lot of announcements, we try and keep this awareness of our insiders high to eliminate the unintentional or the ignorance factor when it comes to managing insider threat.
Okay. So with that, as agencies look to leverage new technology with insider threats or just across the entire enterprise, how can you push the boundaries with next generation data security practices? I mean, what tools or strategies are being put in place to protect just the troves of data that you guys have to deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Well, that's an interesting question. I like to say that the government is a late adapter because okay. I think in the public sector, there's a lot more focus on data analytics, security right. data analytics. Okay. The risk score, and I like to joke that Amazon and Google and Safeway can predict what we're going to buy next week or tomorrow. But in the government, we're a little behind the times in using big data for its advantages. Okay. So there's a lot of things, both on the defensive side and on the predictive side that we could use. We got the data loss prevention, the continuous diagnostics, lots of things to protect the network, lots of things to protect the vetted, trusted insider workforce. But at the end of the day, we're a little behind the times when it comes to some of the public companies of using data analytics and the risk scoring and figure out where our true vulnerabilities are. But we're getting there. But it's a double-edged sword. Of course, we're going to take care of the privacy concerns, civil liberty concerns when it comes to collecting data on all of our trusted insiders. But the tools on the defensive side are there. We're protecting our networks better and better. And again, now we're looking at the individuals, the trusted insiders. Our firewalls are good. The exterior threats we've got a good handle on. But our insiders have the access. And of course, we want to stop malicious or unintentional insider threat issues.
So you talked a little bit about, with these insider threat issues, making sure that everybody in the agency gets up to par. So you're obviously trying to change the culture a little bit. How are you driving your agency to think differently about cybersecurity when it comes to insider threat? Can you elaborate a little more on what you're doing inside there?
Well, sure. At the State Department, we have some rather unique workforce groups.
Okay.
We have the Foreign Service, we right. have our civil service. We depend on the subject matter expertise of a lot of third-party contractors, and we have 60,000 locally engaged staff all over the world. So while some of them may be locally engaged Americans, the vast majority are local employees from all the different countries where we have embassies or consulates. So we have different kind of threat issues. Now, of course, we can vet the cleared American workforce, and we know who they are, and we can work well with them. When it comes to our locally engaged staff, we're dependent upon what we can do in every country that we work with. So the vetting is a little different, but they're still vetted, still trusted. So what we like to do is, again, do a thorough vetting, keep a continual process so we can assist employees. Because, of course, the whole idea of insider threat is that no one joins an organization to do it harm. So our program is built on establishing a baseline, which is a security clearance okay. and a suitability, and then monitoring the individual either manually. Now there's more and more data-driven, like a continual evaluation is something you might hear. It's something that the Office of Director of National Intelligence is implementing, whereas we will continually monitor a lot of records of people with security clearances. So we have that as a backdrop, And then it is explaining, again, it's all security awareness. I have 140,000 end users on my unclassified network. But of course, there's lots of significant sensitive information, and it's important that our end users understand what can happen if they do not pay attention. So again, it all goes back to, I think, security awareness. The tools are there to make sure that phishing messages can't move laterally in a network, all that other good stuff, the data loss prevention, that we can't exfiltrate data as easy as we used to. But at the end of the day, it's making sure that every end user understands their role in keeping the network safe.
So finally, I think I know where you're going to go with this, because we talked a little bit about data analytics. Right. But what's the one piece of technology that agencies have to get right if they're going to keep their network secure?
Yeah, I'm a layman, so I talk a good game when it comes to technology, but I think big data is not a dirty word. Okay. I think we need to engage with all the latest advances in the big data issue, but data analytics, security data analytics, a risk score that not in any kind of malicious way, but especially when it comes to my organization, we have the Foreign Service that lives in foreign countries. So when it comes to protecting national security information, foreign influence is a big issue.
Right.
And we have lots of adversaries that still target us individually based on where we work. So my Foreign Service contingent are told to go accumulate as much foreign influence as possible. But at the same time, that could be used against them by a foreign adversary. So with risk scoring, we can automated help these people when they're in high risk places. Again, just to make sure that they're not being used inadvertently as an insider, and of course, we do want to catch the malicious insider too. So I think, as the government adapts the behavioral analytic model, we'll get better at looking at anomalies, on a proactive as opposed to the reactive, which is what we're faced now.
Stephen, very, very interesting stuff. Appreciate you stopping by to talk with us for a little bit.
Sure, it was a pleasure.